Hey guys, what's up? This is Gormizer, and I'm here with another episode of Smite Strats, and today we are going to be covering the mid lane, which is this lane, in the middle. Obviously why it's called mid lane. So, this lane is probably the more even of all the lanes. The distance between the back tower and the Phoenix is relatively short. The distance between the two towers is relatively short, and the distance between these two towers is shorter than it is in the long lane, but longer than it is in the short lane. So this one's definitely a very good median for the middle lane. Now, the middle lane is usually dominated by mages with good clear, so you'll see many Ao Kuangs, Agni, definitely some Scyllas, Janus, any of those gods. Now, mid lane, I'm covering it in the middle of all the roles, because it is one of the roles that they do a lot of what the first two roles, which were Solo and Hunter, they do a lot of that, but they also do a lot of the stuff that the jungle and the support do. And so this is one of the roles that it's different, but not too different. So, first things first, I'm going to go ahead and tell you, how do you start in mid lane? Both mid laners will start at their respective mid camp, so I'll color coordinate this. If you're the blue side of the map, this is going to be your mid camp. If you're the red side of the map, or the chaos side, then this will be your mid camp. Why is that important? Well, let's say you are the blue side, and you want to come to this mid camp. They will have their hunter and their mid player there. Their support is either going to be back here or with them. So that's a potential of 2 or 3 players ready to fight you. And if this is the chaos, or this is the blue side, why wouldn't the solo laner, or whoever, or this mid laner, want to come to these? And that's because, depending on who the jungler is, there will be a solo laner, and maybe the jungler as well, at this mid camp, which again, that's 2 to 3 people waiting to fight you. Back to the basics of mid lane though. You take this lane, or you take the mid camps, the mid harpies, and you come to lane. And then that's where the farm fest begins. At the beginning of every role, your goal is to get gold. Because at the beginning of the game, you don't have as much kill potential as you will later when you have gold. But, that being aside, there's going to be a mid laner coming from their side, and a mid laner coming from your side. These fights are going to be relatively passive. You're just going to clear the wave and then probably back off. Obviously, this role is a lot like the other roles. You're going to be spending some time trying to get a lot of gold. However, a lot of these roles will revolve around clearing the wave and then going to get the mid camps when they respawn, which is every 3 minutes. So your jungler will come by, usually, and you'll try to get these mid camps. Sometimes your support will come as well. And which mid camp you get is based on which of them you know are coming over. Let's say their mid comes over here, and their jungler and their solo laner are here. You probably don't want to run into that. But let's say you come to this one, and your support is here, and they only have the mid laner, then those are yours. You should go for them. Obviously, like other roles, you want to push down the towers. Mid is probably, I think, one of the first towers I see gotten every game. It gets taken down very quickly, along with the solo lane tower. However, the mid lane, as you can see, with, let's say this is that's the barrier to your tower. There are 4 entryways to the lane from just that spot. If your tower's gone, that escalates to 6. If that tower's gone, it goes to 8. So that becomes a very hazardous place to play. So one of the things that I like to do, personally, is you ward mid, obviously. But you can't carry 4 wards. First off, that's 200 gold right there. But not only that, but you can't carry them. Like, you can only carry 2 wards at a time. So where exactly where would you think to put a ward? Where I like to put my wards, and this is a personal preference, I like to put one here, because that will catch their jungler. If their jungler's coming up, and he tries to get you in any of these ways, to come up behind you, because you'll probably be in this part of the lane, that catches him. Well, that's only one ward. Where does the other one go? The other one goes up here. And this is to catch their support player. If he roams over from any of these directions, he will get you. If the support player comes up through here, then you are more than likely okay, because the support player usually doesn't have enough CC to stop you and kill you because they don't have that much damage. But it is still a threat, so be careful. If the jungler comes up through here and you had a ward up there, then that is probably going to be, it's less of a hazard, because this is where the jungle that they will want to cover are up here. This is where the most hazard comes from for their jungler, because they will spend a lot of time ganking the solo lane. However, if you see their jungler over in the duo lane, then be prepared for him to come up from here, because it is possible that he will decide to come get you. Other than one of the last things to cover about mid is the red buff. Early game, the red buff typically goes to the jungler. However, starting mid game to late game, so levels 7 up, maybe 10 depending on who you're talking to or how the game is going. And also, this is very dependent on how well is your jungler doing compared to their jungler. Also, how well is your mid doing to their mid? If you're doing worse, your jungler should try to give you a red buff early. However, if you're doing better, then the jungler can take it for the early game. But what I was trying to say when I started that is that every now and then the jungler will drop the red for you, and you will go get it and come back to lane. And it's just a nice buff. It helps you clear the lane a little faster, and also gives you some more kill potential for your lane. If you have red buff and they don't, or if it's a 2v1 and you have a red buff, then you're more likely to get out of the fight or get a kill out of the fight, which is definitely something you should always be looking for. Other than that, remember to grab your mid harpies, and I will see you in the next episode of Smite Strats.